So the appraisal comes in low. Say you're under contract for $350,000, just for example. Say the appraiser comes in at $330,000, $20,000 gap. What does that mean for you as the homeowner and hopefully the home seller? My name is Kirsten Openshaw, and I'm the owner of the Openshaw Realty Group, and I hope you find this quick video helpful on knowing what to expect should this scenario happen or if it's just happened to you. So say you have this $20,000 gap, $350,000 contract price, $330,000 on the appraisal value, the opinion of value. First of all, the appraiser's value, it's not, it is just an opinion. They are a third-party contractor hired to make sure that we're not inflating the real estate market. People are paying unrealistic prices. Make sure that the buyers are not overpaying. If you're selling your home, you might be buying another home. You're not going to want to overpay either. So this is just a protection scenario to make sure that we're not fixing these values and going to head towards another 2008 crash, because that's kind of one of the things that really set that market downhill was appraisal values. So that's a little side note. Just want you to know, it's not something where they're saying, oh my gosh, we really didn't like your house or anything like that. So a couple of things you can do. First, you can accept the appraisal value. Say you're like, $330,000, we kind of thought it might come in there. I'm okay with that. We would sell it for that. You can accept it. Get with your agent. The agent will send you an amendment. They will get with the buyer's agent, have them sign an amendment. Everything goes to underwriting, and you'll probably close within a couple of days because I'll go in for final underwriting and review. They'll get the clear to close. The buyers will from their underwriting and loan department, and then you'll close. So that's your first option. You can just run with it and accept the opinion of value, the $330,000. Or you can turn around. This is probably the most common. You can turn around and you can say, hey, would the buyer make up the difference? Would the buyer pay towards this gap, this $20,000 gap? Would the buyer say come all the way to the table with the extra 20 grand, or would the buyer come in parts? So say 5,000, 10,000. Say your magic number was, I really want to sell for $335,000. Okay, will the buyer come to the table with the extra 5,000 on top of the $330,000 appraisal value? Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. We saw a lot of that happening in the COVID market. We're really not seeing a lot of it right now. We're mid-2023 right now. We're not seeing a whole lot of that. That could change. Our real estate market is changing all the time, so it could definitely change. Get with your agent, see how likely it is that could happen, and just, decide if that's something you want to do, because what is the knock-on effect? Could it delay things? Could it give the buyer cold feet? No buyer wants to overpay. We've touched on that. They're not going to want to feel like you're being greedy. Not saying you are, but they might not want to feel like you're feeling greedy and trying to push them into a higher price. So number one, you can accept it. Number two, you can renegotiate with the buyer and see if they could come to the table. Or number three, you can just say no. And I don't want to sell my house for that. If it is a really big gap, say you're listed at, $500,000 and the appraisal comes in at $300,000, that's a $200,000 deficit. I don't see that happening. I don't see someone going under contract for a house that's that incorrectly priced. However, side note, it's up to you. It's your home. You don't have to sell it, but I would get with your agent and just talk about what are the pros and cons of this? What's the knock-on effects? What are the dominoes that are going to fall if we do XYZ here? But those are really your three main options: are accept it, renegotiate with the buyer, see if they can bring money to table, or say no. So I hope that was helpful. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight if you're either in this situation or if you're worried about going into this situation, if you're in a really different market and maybe there's not so many comps that are very similar to your home that you're worried what the appraiser is going to use. But either way, I hope this was helpful. If you have other questions, on this topic, I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to answer. You can just drop a comment below and I'll get back with you, and it might prompt another video that maybe a lot of other people are thinking that same question. So, no crazy questions. There's no silly questions. There's no daft questions. Just drop them in the comment. And I hope this was helpful. And I hope if you're in this scenario that it works out, you get to closing and you get to move and do everything that you want to do.